Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Here it is. I've got to do this. I think it's really important. I'm fed up to the back teeth of all this sensationalist bollocks about how Manchester United are going to spend £400 million. We're going to sign Sancho, Saul Niguez, Koulibaly, Ndombele, Wan-Bissaka. Well, that's £400 million. Definitely £400 million to buy that sort of standard player. It's not going to happen. So I want to bring a bit of realism. Goldbridge has 5 transfer targets. I've looked at what United have done over the last 4 years. I've gone a little bit hopeful and said that United will spend £260 million. I don't think we'll go much over 200 million, but I'm assuming that the players will sell, the Darmians, the Rojos, the Bays. That's about 60 million. So hopefully we'll be able to do net and then use that 60 million and the 200 million. So 260 million, I'm going to get us 5 players that will make a massive difference to United. And it's realism. I want you to do yours. Get in the comments below. Have a think about it, because I'm fed up of the sensationalist bollocks around Manchester United, like I say. You know, we're proper fans. We're real Manchester United fans. We're not mugs. And when people start saying, oh, it's going to be the biggest summer ever, 400 million spent, that bollocks is for sun readers. You know, United fans have got a little bit of depth. We're not going to do that. So we've got to look at what's realistic and what we can get that's best for us realistically. We can't get 5 players who are worth £100 million. It's not going to happen. So what can we get? £260 million. I've got 5 players that will massively improve Manchester United. So number 1, Kalidou Koulibaly. Look, you can go for Skriniar, you can go for De Ligt, I don't mind. Top Varane, brilliant centre-backs. But let's just say Koulibaly, £80 million, bish bash bosh, clean up, we're finished. You've had it, have it. And he'd be brilliant for Manchester United. Playing for Napoli. Napoli are never going to win Serie A. They're never going to win the Champions League. He's coming up for 28. He's changed his agent. He's ready for a big move. Whether we'll get him or not, I don't know. Maybe go to PSG. Maybe Real Madrid. But you've got to be in that conversation. You've got to be in the conversation of Koulibaly, Varane, De Ligt or Skriniar. We can get one of those 4 players, and they're all worth anywhere between 60 and 90 million. So you've got to get one of those. Koulibaly would be my number 1, £80 million. As you can see, doesn't score many goals, in fact none this season, or assists, but he's that domineering centre-back we need at Manchester United. You look at the Smalling and the Joneses the other night. If you've got Koulibaly playing there, he smashes every Wolves player into the stands and the ball, and it's gone, and we don't concede. We need a leader at the back to play against next to the more cultured Varane. Next, Ndombele. Now, 22 years of age. I think he's 5'11". Ndombele is going to be difficult to get, but I think £60 million is probably about right for what you would get him. I think competition is going to be not competition. That's something please do. Competition is going to be very stiff. It's going to be very stiff because Barcelona might be interested. He played very well against them. Real Madrid might be interested because Zidane's French and so is he. So we might not be able to get an Ndombele. There are other options. There's people like Barella, maybe a Verratti or someone like that, but he'd be more expensive. Ndombele would be perfect for Manchester United. The most important thing about him is he's 22. He fits in with that. Koulibaly would bring us some experience and domination at the back. Ndombele would be the perfect Solskjaer signing. Somebody who's got development in them, hunger in them. Drop him into that midfield. And what I would say about Ndombele is, look, I don't want Ander Herrera to leave Manchester United. But I'm frustrated. The reason I don't want him to leave is because I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated by the contract being run down. I'm frustrated that a player that gets what United's all about is leaving Manchester United for no money because we're run badly at the top. However, if Ander Herrera had a 3-year contract and PSG was signing him for 50 million, and we use that 50 million to sign Ndombele, I'd be like, thanks, Ander, you're a very good player, but I've always wondered whether actually you can win a league with Ander Herrera. You can certainly get top 4 with Ander Herrera, he's a very good player, but I've always wondered, and I've said it on previous videos, as much as I like him, I've wondered, is he a starter in a Premier League winning side? And it's debatable, you can go one way or the other. So it's rather interesting, because if PSG sign Herrera, they're probably not going to get Ndombele. And if we can get Ndombele instead of Herrera, then apart from the frustration of the money loss in not getting a transfer fee for Herrera, he's the best replacement for Herrera. Some people think Ndombele is a centre defensive midfielder. He can play there. I'd say he's probably spent about 20% of his season playing there. Mainly he's a box-to-box. He does need to improve his assists and his goal scoring, but he's very tenacious, which is what we need in the midfield. He's good at carrying the ball. He's a good passer of the ball, and he's got development in him. And I think Ndombele would be the replacement for Herrera. It's very important that we bring 2 midfielders in. So he would be the replacement for Herrera for me. £60 million plus the 80 for Koulibaly. So we're up to 2 plus 2 is quick maths, £140 million, and I've got you a very good box-to-box midfielder and a very good centre-back. Now, this one's going to surprise you. Thomas Meunier. Forget about it, Goldbridge. You're drunk. Well, I can't be drunk, so I've got a very bad sore throat and I can't drink. Maybe I'm overdosing on lozenges. There's value in this. This to me is my best pick. And what I'm trying to do here, and I don't know whether, maybe Ed Woodward should watch, because I'll save him a lot of money. Maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should watch as well, because I'll plug all the gaps that need plugging, and I'll do it for less than 300 million. 260 million. I will change that squad. So, Thomas Meunier, £20 million for a start. Very, very cheap. Why? 1 year left on his contract. Look at the stats of Thomas Meunier. Predominantly a right back. I put midfielder next to his name because look at the stats. 6 goals and 8 assists from right back this season. That encompasses his Belgian career, his PSG career. Yes, he's playing in France, but so does Neymar, so does Mbappe, so does Ndombele. Has Ndombele got 6 goals and 8 assists? No, he hasn't. So Meunier is, I think he's about 6'3". He's very experienced. He's a very good right back. And we haven't got a right back. We've got wingers who are shit fullbacks playing at right back. And they're wearing the captain's armband. Thomas Meunier has hinted about Manchester United in the past. It'd be absolutely perfect. Now, people talk about Wan-Bissaka, right? I've got you an international right back there who would come into Manchester United. He's a grafter. It'd be like he's got that Herrera mentality as well. He's very strong-minded, fights, up for it, which would make him a fan favourite with United fans straight away. Wan-Bissaka, right? 2 issues with him. 1, he's very young, and you've got to develop him. And 2, he's very, very close to the age of Dalot. And Diogo Dalot, for me, has got all the attributes to be our right back in 3 or 4 years' time. He's got a great physique. He's strong. He's got a good cross on the ball. I think he's very skillful. I think he's going to be a very, very good right back. He's not ready yet. He's 19 years of age. So you bring Wan-Bissaka in, you're basically closing the door on Dalot's development because he's going to be understudy to Wan-Bissaka. And also, Wan-Bissaka's probably going to cost you 40 million more than this. I've saved you 40 million. I've saved you going up to that 300 million that United won't go up to. Thomas Meunier, right? 28 in September. Look at the stats. Look at what he brings. You bring him in as our right back for 2 years, and in that 2 years, Dalot starts knocking on his door. Maybe Meunier becomes the understudy to Dalot at some point, but you've got a very experienced right back who you can rely on while Dalot develops, and you can be patient with that development. Meunier, for me, would be absolutely brilliant. And also, with 1 year left on his contract, you're getting a very, very good right back for a very, very good price that then you can spend your money elsewhere. So, Koulibaly, 80 million, 60 million for Ndombele, and 20 million for Meunier. 160 million pounds spent. I've got you a top-class centre-back, a very good midfielder who can develop, and a very, very experienced right-back for 160 million pounds. Next, Thomas Partey. Let's party. Get ready. Take that and party. Well, we'll take him. He's come on the scene a little bit late. I think we all know who Thomas Partey is. I think some people get confused about where he plays. He can play at right back. He can play right wing. But predominantly, he's the other way of Ndombele. He can play box to box, but he probably plays centre defensive midfielder more often, and that's where I'd be looking to bring him in. 25, so he's got some experience about him. 6'1", so he's got physicality and height about him. Very tenacious, very good on the ball, can score goals. As you can see, he's got 3 goals this season and 4 assists for Atletico Madrid, which is pretty good in 39 games, considering they're a bit of a part of the bus team. It'd be a brilliant signing for United. He's come late to the party. I don't know whether we can do this deal, but if we could get Partey and Ndombele and we lose Herrera and Fellaini, which we've lost already, that would be amazing for Manchester United. Now, 60 million is what I've put down for him. I don't know whether this is right. There's a story about Thomas Partey. Most Spanish La Liga players have a release clause in it. So forget about it, Atletico Madrid. If you pay the release clause, it's down to the player. And I like that. I like that a lot. I like it a lot. But there's a contrasting story here. At the middle of the week, it was £44 million sterling to sign him because he's got a £50 million Euro release clause. But then, that was being reported by AS, who are a little bit full of bullshit, to be honest with you, but sometimes they're right. But interestingly, a year ago, he signed the new contract at Atletico Madrid for 5 years. And AS said at that time that his release clause was 70 million, which is about 64 million sterling. So I've sort of gone around the middle and said 60 million because I've sort of trust the release clause from when he just signed the contract to now. But 60 million for a midfielder who, if he wants to come, will come because Atletico Madrid can't stop it. He's not going to go to Real Madrid. PSG are going to get Herrera. Where else is he going to go? Maybe Juventus, but Premier League, I think he suits it very, very well. My only issue with this is 60 million, that's 220 million I've spent. I've got 2 midfielders, both very energetic, both very tenacious, both of a very good age, a top-class centre-back and an experienced right-back to help out Dalot. And I've done that for 220 million. My concern is even if Herrera goes, are we going to sign 2 midfielders? There's all this crap about we're going to sign 2 midfielders, but we've got Pogba, we've got Matic, we've got McTominay, we've got Pereira, we've got Fred, we've got 5, and Garner potentially. We've got 5 midfielders. Are we going to buy 2 more? We should do, because Matic isn't good enough. McTominay's a squad player. Pereira we don't know about. And Fred, I'm sorry, he's verging on a flop. So we might only sign 1 when we need 2. And this is my issue at United. It's like, do you want to fight for titles or do you want to be a bank and scrape top 4? Because if you want to be a bank and be fighting for top 4, only sign 1 midfielder. If you want to fight for titles, get Partey and Ndombele, and to hell with Fred and McTominay and Pereira and Matic as game time. Play Partey as the CDM, Ndombele as the right-sided midfielder, Pogba as the left-sided midfielder, and let's literally take that and Partey. And obviously you've got McTominay, Pereira as backup. Fred and Matic do one, but that's the problem we've got. I think we'll only sign 1 midfielder, but we need 2. So 220 million. I've got you 2 midfielders, a right back and a centre back. 220 million. Quality as well. And I think these prices are spot on. Spot on. The last one then. You know it's a right winger. We need a right winger. If I bought Jadon Sancho from here, you're over 300 million. 320 million, because he's 100 million, isn't he? So it's not him. It's Hirving Lozano. £40 million, £260 million spent. I've got you a world-class centre-back, a very, very good right-back, 2 of the best talents in the midfield in world football, and I've got you a right winger for £260 million. Hirving Lozano, you know what? I really like Jadon Sancho, and I'll be very happy if he came to United. But I'm fed up of this, let's get Saul Niguez. Like, if you get Saul Niguez for a midfielder, right, £100 million at least, you can get Partey and Ndombele for that and have 2 midfielders. As I said the other night, you get Saul Niguez for £100 million. He does his hamstring in the first game of the season. He's out for 2 months. You're stuck with what you've got now. You spend that £100 million on Partey and Ndombele. One of them does their hamstring. You've still got the other. I don't want these £100 million players because they take a huge chunk of the transfer budget when we need depth in that squad. We need 2 midfielders is what I'm saying. On the right-hand side, Hirving Lozano will be cheaper by half than Jadon Sancho. And Hirving Lozano is a fantastic player. I've spoken about on this channel 3-4 years ago. There's a video. He was playing in Mexico. Not many people knew about him. And, fuck off. Why ring me when I'm filming? For God's sake. Mad Marcus, that is. Now you've got Mad Mark. Mad Marcus ringing me when I'm filming. Mad Marcus. Mad Mark. I'm mad. I'm very mad. Anyway, he's made me lose my train of thought, especially on my favourite one. It's alright, we're mates, don't worry about it. Lozano then. Well, look, he's a right winger. That's the main thing. 38 games this season, 19 goals and 8 assists. Yes, it's the Dutch league. It's the Dutch league. Memphis Depay had brilliant stats and he flopped at Manchester United. But the interesting thing about Hirving Lozano is he's none of those goals. I think maybe one of them. They're all from the wing. He's played on the right wing and the left wing. On the left-hand side, when he's played on the wing, he's got 7 goals and 1 assist. When he's played on the right wing, he's got 8 goals and 6 assists. He's way more productive when he plays on the right wing. What do we need? A right winger. 23 years of age, not even in his prime. He's got development. Mexican, loves Manchester United. And the thing about Lozano as well is, look, maybe Jadon Sancho will end up being a better player in a few years' time. But with Hirving Lozano, you're not going to get any of this bling, dabbing, videos, sponsorships. He's going to come to Manchester United. He's going to get his head down. He's going to be professional. And I think he'd be a brilliant, brilliant player for Manchester United. And look, I'll be honest with you. I would like Jadon Sancho, but what I'm doing here is I'm spending £260 million on 5 positions that we need to fill. If I get Jadon Sancho, we're over 320 million, and that's not going to happen. So I've provided you with 5 players there. Realistic targets that Woodward and his board of cronies should not be ignoring. 260 million is fair to spend this summer. You spent 70 last year, and normally we'd be spending 150. So that's 80 from last year, and maybe 200 this year. So 250 million, 260 million, that's fair. And you're going to make about 50 from sales. So Hirving Lozano, look at his rating, 7.6, that's massive. And now I can see people saying, you're not going to get him for 40 million. You bloody are. This is Dutch football. Napoli want him. Napoli can't spend 80 million on Hirving Lozano. Napoli will get him for 40 million. We got Memphis Depay, I know it was 3 years ago, for 25 million. He was one of the best talents in European football at that time, 25 million. 40 million, maybe 45, PSV will be all over that. And, you know, that's less than half of what Jadon Sancho will cost. And I think it'd be a revelation at Manchester United. I really would. So there you have it. Hirving Lozano, Thomas Partey, Thomas Meunier, Tanguy Ndombele, and Kalidou Koulibaly. Centre-back, right-back, 2 midfielders, right wing, £260 million. Realistic, doable. This is what people need to think about in the club. I want you lot to think about it and get your comments in below and tell me how you could do it cheaply. Don't go above 300 million, because we're not going to do that. You know, I would love to be proved wrong, but we're not going to do that. We're run by the bloody Glazers and Woodward for a start. So it's not going to happen. How do you get the position? And you might not want a right winger, you might not want 2 midfielders, but I've got you 2 midfielders, a centre back and a right back and a right midfielder, and I've put thought into this. You know, the Meunier one for me is an absolute find. 1 year left on his contract. Brilliant right back, and you know, at his age, he can be sort of a bit of experience next to Delo as he develops over the next 2 years. But please do smash a like on the video. I've put a bit of work into that, and the whole premise of this show was to do it realistic. I think too many people are doing it, and I've seen people on social media, and I look at the 5 players they're bringing in, and it's like I say, it's Koulibaly, it's Wan-Bissaka, it's Declan Rice. Well, that straight away is 80, 60, 60. So that's 200 million just on your right back, your midfielder, and Koulibaly. Then they've got Sancho, another 100 million, 300 million. 300 million for 4 players, and you need and let's get the lad from Portugal as well. Another 60 million, 360 million. It's just not going to happen. I wanted to do it realistically. Get in the comments and do yours realistically for me. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. I really do love the transfer window. I do. I love, you know, researching and knowing about players and that. But we're Manchester United at the end of the day. We know how this club operates, and we know that, barring a miracle, we're not spending more than, I don't think, 250 million. So we're going to have to be very clever with that. And if we did sign a Saul Niguez or a Jadon Sancho, that's nearly half our budget on one player. And we need depth. We don't need 2 or 3 players. We need 4 or 5. And not, you know, they've got to be 4 or 5 top players. They've got to be. And I think I've provided them for you for 260 million. Maybe Ed can shave a little bit off as well. But thanks everyone for watching. Speak to you all tomorrow. Smash a like, and I hope you enjoyed the video.